Good morning. Today we're at the Ogden Union Station hanging out with some real trains. Let's have a look, see what they got. They recently acquired this Western Pacific locomotive, and this one does run. They had it running yesterday. Nice rock. Okay, we got the sun right over the top of the locomotive. This is a Union Pacific Big Blow steam, or not steam, but a gas turbine locomotive. Of course, this one no longer runs. It's just here on display. One of 2 units that got saved and put on display. We've got a Southern Pacific SD45. A Rio Grande SD40T-2, one of those tunnel motor jobs. They've got the Union Pacific 6916, which is known as a Centennial. These were the big double diesel engines back in the days. They was known as a DDA 40X, X for experimental, because they're the only ones that ever had one. And then we also got the old steamer out of Pioneer Park from Salt Lake here, the UP 833. Okay, here's a cool little maintenance away truck that they've had squirreled away down here at the Union Station for years. This thing is just cool. Out of all the stuff they got here on display, this is the one I wouldn't mind having in my yard. I'm pretty sure the HOA probably wouldn't like this being in my yard. But to me, this just has a cool factor of 20 out of 10.
His hand is
His hand is greasy. What are we gonna do?
What is that?
This part of this SD40 is what makes this a tunnel motor. Hence the T-2 at the end. Well, the -2 is for electronics inside. But this one sucks the cool air out of the tunnel through these grates and blows it out the top. Whereas a typical locomotive sucks air in at the top and blows it out through smaller grates near the top, causing them to overheat. And this one over here is a Southern Pacific SD45. These locomotives came from the factory with a 20-cylinder engine inside of them. Biggest engine on a locomotive. Okay, this Union Pacific 26 is a General Electric gas turbine locomotive. It has a 10,000 horsepower turbine engine in the B unit. In the A unit, the front of the 3-unit setup was a 600 horsepower Cummins engine for moving this locomotive setup around in the yards. There was traction motors on these trucks of both the A and the B unit. The B unit is where the turbine engine resided. And the 3rd unit to this locomotive was the fuel tender. They hauled a low-grade Bunker C fuel oil that was so thick it had to be heated to make it flow to feed the turbine. And these trucks did not have any motors in them. Okay, up here on the back of the B unit, you see a big horseshoe-shaped opening. That's the exhaust port for the steam turbine, or the gas turbine. Why do I want to keep calling it steam? It's a gas turbine, because most turbine engines or motors are steam. That's why you keep calling it steam. But yeah, you got some old military switchers hiding back here in the back as well. We're not as interested in those because they just seem to be sitting here rotting. This old gas turbine locomotive is cool. Definitely worth a visit to the Union Station just to check this out. Come on a sunny day. And in the afternoon, the sun shines on this side, lighting it up pretty good. But this show is over at 2 o'clock today, so we're trying to make the best of the time we have left. Okay, right in here is where the traction motor would sit in these units, but the traction motor has all been removed. There, we'll go in here and have a better look at the traction motor cavity on these trucks. You can see the big gear on the axle that the traction motor turned. And then that was where the cables came down to the traction motors. And yes, this locomotive Even has a diesel fuel tank to supply the Cummins diesel inside with power. That's kind of an interesting view up through the cooling fan. And for some reason, they had to make the cabs wider than the rest of the locomotive body. Guess they need more room inside. This unit here is an old Southern Pacific GP9. This one was cosmetically restored. Has no running gear inside. And this unit features a high short hood. Okay, here we have an old steam-powered rotary snowplow. At one time it was OWR&N, and then that became Union Pacific. They actually had this water column working at one time. And then we've got an old Union Pacific steam-powered wrecking crane.